Friends, Namaste. Welcome to another episode of Nagpur Narratives on Indic Vichar. This is Ajay Sudhame. I know saying it another episode of Nagpur Narratives is not apt because this is only a second episode. Earlier one we had recorded when Prime Minister Modi expanded his cabinet around 3 months back, I guess. And but so people may ask that why I have not been able to do many episodes of Nagpur Narratives. That's because I have been doing a lot of episodes in Marathi. In last 1 year or so, we have been also able to interview some fine people, journalists, scholars, authors on our channel, and we have got really good response. So thank you everybody for that response. So, but then I hope that I will be able to do more episodes of Nagpur Narratives starting today. Now, the specific aim of doing this episode in English is because I don't see any English press, any English news channel or YouTube channel talking about something which I think is very important. They have been talking about Sharad Pawar. They have been talking about talking about the strike which is going on, ST strike which is going on. They've been talking about Devendra Fadnavis. But I didn't see anybody talking about Uddhav Thackeray and specifically about his health. And hence I thought that I should do some justice to this. Now chances are that those people who know about the critical spine surgery which Uddhav Thackeray has undergone may have judged me by now and started throwing adjectives such as political Hindu or Bhakt. Further chances are that those who know that Uddhav Thackeray, notwithstanding his bad health, has attended his first digital meeting on a Zoom call, may label me as downright cruel or inhuman. So before that happens, let me tell you that I am fully aware that Uddhav Thackeray has undergone a very difficult spine surgery and is recuperating right now. So I wish him all the best. But while we are discussing the political ramifications of this, I cannot help but notice the irony behind all this, because he is recuperating and the surgery was performed upon him in an hospital owned by one of two businessmen who have been alleged as crony capitalists by Rahul Gandhi and now even Shiv Sena. Life is strange, you see. In spite of this update on Chief Minister's health, I am posing this question: where is Uddhav Thackeray? Which might sound rhetorical, because when he was admitted to the hospital, we were given to understand that he will be discharged within 2 or 3 days and he will be back to his work within a week or so. But it has taken him 15 days to sit on a chair and attend his first virtual meeting. And I know for a fact that Sharad Pawar is already making moves on him to unseat Uddhav Thackeray. Incidentally, he is in Delhi. He reached Delhi on 26th of November along with Devendra Fadnavis. Now, if sources are to be believed, it's not that only left liberal journalists are sources. So if sources are to be believed, the news on Uddhav Thackerays health is just not reassuring. Nobody is sure how this highly complex spine surgery went, but what we know for a fact is that it has caused many unintended consequences on his body, and hence nobody is sure when he will be back on his legs. Anyway, when Uddhav Thackeray went for this spine surgery, he was not in his pink of his health. It's a known fact that he is a heart patient, and there are multiple CABGs performed on his body, and there are already more than half a dozen stents in his body. Intriguingly, no English media outlet seems to even have a hint of the risk which Uddhav Thackeray is at right now. Or even if they have, they are pretending very well. And hence, we decided to do a show specially focusing on Uddhav Thackeray's health and its political ramifications. Now, there is another point to this, and which is that I am an ardent fan of Bal Thackeray. I don't have any shame in admitting that. And I think that Balasaheb Thackeray's party is going through its leanest patch. When it's having its own CM, this might sound contrarian or downright crazy. So let me explain. Shiv Sena in 2019 broke ranks with BJP and formed an alliance with NCP and Congress, and it was named as Mahavikas Aghadi. But while doing it in last 2 years, it has ceded too much ideological space to NCP. And though it got its own CM, which it was aiming for so long, many decades, now there is no differentiator between Shiv Sena and NCP in any way. Now Shiv Sena just looks like NCP with a saffron flag. And Sharad Pawar, who is one of the most crafty politicians, is not only controlling the alliance, but he is also controlling two most vital parameters, which is generating new narratives and handling day-to-day administration. You need not go far to test this prognosis. Only a fortnight ago, incidentally, on that day, Uddhav Thackeray was in office. So only a fortnight back, Sharad Pawar met Mumbai Commissioner of Police Hemant Nagrale and Home Minister Dilip Valse Patil. Now my question is, in which capacity? Sharad Pawar is just a Rajya Sabha MP. He may be the head of NCP, but he holds no constitutional or administrative position in this Mahavikas Aghadi government. Can anybody explain how can he meet Commissioner of Police? And this is not happening for the first time. In March this year, he had met rockstar-like famous Joint Commissioner of Mumbai, Vishwas Nangre Patil. Again, why? Again, 6 months back, in March he met Vishwas Nangre Patil. In September 2020, he had met Vishwas Nangre Patil again. How is that kosher? Can anybody explain? You see, all administrative matters ideally should be addressed by the Minister of the department or at the best Chief Minister. But this being a coalition, if NCP feels that they want one of their men also to be present during these briefings, then there is no other person best suited than Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar, who is Sharad Pawar's nephew and a deputy chief minister in this government, is a number 2. So why not allow him? But no, Sharad Pawar doesn't trust anybody, not even his own nephew. He wants to have all the administrative controls. So one wonders, what is this all pointing to? To me, this is an obvious plan to cut Uddhav Thackeray to size and undermine his authority, so that when he completes his 2.5 years, he should resign with minimum fuss and hardly any collateral damage. If you are still not convinced with this narrative, let me run you through happenings of last year. Starting with the biggest scandal faced by this government till date, known as 100 crore extortion scandal, where it was alleged that Sachin Waze, appointed by Uddhav Thackeray, was given a target of collecting 100 crore from bar owners every month. And it seems even Anil Deshmukh, the Home Minister, was hand in glove. Following the discovery of gelatin sticks outside Ambani residence, when Devendra Fadnis pulled out CDRs called detailed records between Anil Deshmukh and Waze and Paramveer Singh, etc., it hit the Mahavikas government hard and it was left reeling. There was widespread criticism of this government, and it was Sharad Pawar who went out and during 2 consecutive press conferences spoke to journalists himself. Do you know for what? To save Anil Deshmukh. But he ended up saving the Mahavikas Aghadi government. And that was the time when he snatched the leadership baton from Uddhav Thackeray's hand. At times it was Sanjay Raut who used to defend the Shiv Sena. But the first representative of the government and the leader of Shiv Sena, the president of Shiv Sena, Uddhav Thackeray, was nowhere to be seen. That was the moment when Uddhav Thackeray ceded the leadership space to NCP and Sharad Pawar. Another bunch of major crises to hit this Mahavikas Aghadi government happened in 2020, when two sadhus along with their driver were brutally lynched in Palghar by a group of evangelists. And within few months, Disha Salian and Sushant Singh Rajput were murdered oblique suicided. Even at that time, the task of defending the government was left largely to NCP spokespersons. And Sanjay Raut was only used to provide a comic relief. Then again in April last year, at the height of the corona pandemic, a riot-like situation was created by laborers outside Bandra station after praying in Bandra mosque. Later it was found that an NCP office bearer named Vinay Dubey was responsible for instigating this riot. Eventually, he was arrested for it and also got a bail. This was a clear example of NCP pandering to their minority vote bank at the cost of the MVA government, actually Shiv Sena. And there was no attempt made by anybody to call this out. A small fry like Vinay Dubey was allowed to get away. The point is, since this Mahavikas Aghadi government was formed, NCP has continuously shortchanged Shiv Sena. And it did affect Shiv Sena's performance in the bypolls, local body bypolls, which happened in October. Shiv Sena, in alliance with BJP last time, did finish at the top. But this time in Mahavikas Aghadi, it was at the 4th position at the bottom. So clearly, Sharad Pawar's plan is working like a charm. By the time Uddhav Thackeray completes his 2.5 years, he'll be left with no option but to resign. Now the big question is, what happens if Uddhav Thackeray refuses to resign? Will it give a chance to BJP to make a comeback? You see, that chance is always there. But then Sharad Pawar knows that this is the best time to make a move on his biggest dream, his long cherished dream of making his daughter Supriya Sule a chief minister. Why I am saying this is the best time? Because Ajit Pawar, his daughter's bete Noir, is discredited because of the 80-hour government he formed with Devendra Fadnavis. And again, Uddhav Thackeray is down for a count. The reasons may be medical or otherwise, but he is not in a position to challenge Sharad Pawar. Hence, continuous chipping away at Uddhav Thackeray's image and continuous attempts at sabotaging his organization on the ground. None should be surprised if a deal sweetener is offered in the form of making Aditya Thackeray a deputy to the chief minister, which will be Supriya Sule. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching us. Namaskar.